I've been thinking a lot about Memoirs in Armour, Navy Blue's latest release, and it really made me reconsider him as truly one of the most slept on rappers right now. I think what he's doing right now with Memoirs in Armour and his last album before that, Ways of Knowing, is really something that new writers, people who are trying to learn how to tell their story in an interesting way, can really study and learn from, because this album is an example of a talented, like really great artist whose music got better because they themselves got better as a person. One of the things that, we're trying to strive for when we're writing raps, in this kind of confessional style of an Earl Sweatshirt or Navy Blue or a mic, is to be authentic, right? But if you're authentic, then that means that whatever you're authentically talking about also has to be interesting. That means that the work that you're doing on yourself has to be noteworthy or worthwhile. Across this album, there are a couple kind of like hallmark themes and honestly just words of advice that Navy Blue has, just about like ways to move, ways to grow, ways to carry yourself as an artist that ultimately will make the music so much better. And you can hear that he's doing the exact same thing in all of these songs. And the first one is a line off of Low Threshold where he says, "If I got a problem, I know I can solve it with truth." I've been talking a lot about what authenticity means on this channel recently, and I think that really it kind of comes down to how honest are you truly being? How deep are you actually digging into your psyche, into your soul, into your themes, whatever it is that you're trying to express? Because if you're writing, right, and there's this voice in the back of your head that knows that there's something else that you want to say, but for whatever reason you're not saying it, or there's a line, or there's, a theme or a motif, there's something that you're holding back. You holding back on that piece, more often than not, is holding back the song itself. Once you tell the full picture and say that thing that you've been keeping in your back pocket that wants to spring out, you're gonna find that your personal story does most of the work for you. That's exactly what's happening in Memoirs in Armour. If you listen to what Navy Blue is saying, he even says on one track, like, "I'm just a vessel. I can't write this. This is what's happening to me. I'm just passing this on so that other people can be inspired by what I'm going through." And also, to help me understand my own feelings, but it's not about the act of doing, it's about the act of letting my story just come through me and out to other people. We're only writing about like 8 to 9 things when we're talking about ourselves and what we're going through. Whether it's addiction, it's, battling with anxiety, it's coming out of hard circumstances, family trauma. There's only like really a few main buckets that we're all trying to talk about. And these challenges are timeless for a reason. It's why, we watch the same movies over and over again, even if they're in different generations. They have the same story structure, the same hero's journey. If you go back to Song of Sage or Ada Irene, and he's dealing with his depression and whatnot, and there's a lot that, you can really kind of relate to there, right? If that's something that you're struggling with. But what's interesting about that album is not the depression itself, it's his reaction to it. It's his fight against it. It's having a window into how this person is reacting to the challenges that they face, and how that, maybe mirrors, what the listener might be going through. That's the intrigue. And the intrigue in this album, and why it's so powerful, is watching someone who slayed those demons, who came out on the other side, who changed. And so it's not just listening to Navy Blue be like, "Oh my gosh, my life is so great now." The album is powerful and emotionally resonant because of the very simple, timeless, joy of seeing someone make it through a really difficult thing. And what Navy Blue does is just be honest about that. And, of course he has great, lyrics and whatnot, but he doesn't leave any part of his story behind. And because of that, and because of his unique human experience, as a listener, we're instantly drawn in, because there's nothing more interesting than someone's honest, unique human experience. It never gets old, and so there's no reason to mess with it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And so that idea of solving problems with truth, literally in song, like, why is this song not working? Maybe I need to be more honest. Maybe I need to be more direct. Maybe I need to say what I'm actually wanting to say. A lot of times you will find, I know I've found it in the things that I'm working on now, the second I start applying more truth to what I'm writing, it really truly does make a difference. What I mean by being more honest is looking for ways to add more dimension to the initial thing that you're trying to express. I think that Navy Blue does that all over this album. If you look at a track like La Noche, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but Navy Blue doesn't just say how he's feeling. He explains piece by piece how he got to that dark place that he was in, why it impacted him specifically in the way that it did, and how it became something greater and something more meaningful to him as he turned his life around, turned his mental state around, and how now that entire journey is now, serving a greater purpose, in his music towards other people. The kind of context and commentary that he brings to telling his own story is the mark of someone who only could have found those things through deep self-reflection, potentially even therapy, whatever it may be. But he spent years and years not just experiencing these things and then trying to regurgitate it in a song, but actually trying to analyze, why is this important? How did I get here? And how is my story significant? And he's worked through those thoughts so much that he's able to flat out tell you. And so if you don't know what your truth is, then that's something that you may not be able to find in a beat. That may not be something you're able to find in lyrics. You may have to take a break, pause. And he says that on another track on this album, I'm allowed to pause. And I love the phrase as well, because it's true. Sometimes you have to pause, take a step back, and really think about the entirety of you as a person and what you're going through, and really sort through that. Another lyric on La Noche where he says, you can't give what you don't hold. And I think that's really an apt just description of the entire album of, Navy Blue understanding it. Like, if I want to inspire other people, if I want to give people a reason to keep going, then I have to, be able to find that reason within myself. I won't be able to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish from this dark place that I'm in. I have to pull myself out of that, or at least be able to truly make sense of why this dark place exists to further other people's understanding. It's having that complete and thorough understanding of why what you're saying is important and why you believe in it and why other people should pay attention to it. Because if you have that belief that what you're doing is important and meaningful, other people will pick up on it. When it comes to rap, the first thing that people are listening for, whether they realize it or not, is, do you actually mean what you're saying? Do you actually care about whatever it is you're talking about? And if you make it very obvious that you do, and you're able to confidently express why these things are important, even if it's just through the way you carry yourself on the beat, that grabs people's attention, and that starts to allow people to buy into what you're saying, and it brings a sense of urgency to the music. And that's one of the places that I think he's really, really gotten a lot better. There's so much clarity in every single line on this album. It's a stark difference between some of the things that he's done before, and I think that's why the emotional weight of what he's saying hits so much harder. Blue's gotten so much better technically. He's definitely a better rapper. The flows are great, the vibes are immaculate, but I don't think that's why most people are listening to him. That's not why I'm listening to him. And I know a lot of the people that I've spoken to in the comments, it's not why they listen to him. We listen to him because we've bought into his story, and we, want to see how he continues to process these things and how he continues to learn and grow and change. And the same thing, you can harness the same thing in your art, and you can have people buy into actually caring about what you do and what you think. The second one person opens up in a way that is, concise and thoughtful of other people's time, but, is interesting and has some substance, it allows other people to latch on, because it's like, I've been trying to say that, I've been trying to, acknowledge that or figure that out myself this entire time, and the fact that you said it allows me to not only draw closer to things that I'm trying to find myself, but allows me to get a better sense of who you are and deepen, a connection that I was looking to have through engaging with this media. You may have noticed I'm not really going track by track, breaking down all the lyrics, giving this album a rating or anything, because it's really not about that. It's about another step in Navy Blue's personal journey. There's so much shadow work and, like interpersonal and internal work that is being done, like in Navy Blue's journey as an artist that then shows up in the music. We're not going to see it anywhere else because it's not for us to see. But I think it's really, really good to just kind of look at it as an example of like, this is what happens when I challenge myself to not just get better as an artist, but as a person. Let me know what your thoughts are on Memoirs in Armour, what you think about Navy Blue as a writer in general, what you've learned from this album, how it's impacted you in any kind of way. Also, feel free if you have anything that you are writing that you want feedback on, you can definitely send it my way. Keep writing, keep going. As Navy Blue says, go at the pace of your own heart. This is Unknown Reviews, and I'll see you later. It's really hot in this room. Goodbye.